an almost unbelievable headline appeared. A violent, heavily armed cartel dismantled in northeast Georgia. Its leaders were indicted in federal court, its arsenal stripped away, and its narcotics seized. 17 individuals who once believed they were untouchable now face conspiracy charges, distribution counts, and firearms violations that could result in life sentences in prison. This wasn't a minor sting or a random arrest. It was a highly coordinated, multi-agency operation involving 13 federal and local agencies. The raid dismantled a network that had been silently operating in Georgia, with operations stretching across Athens, Jefferson, Cedartown, Winterville, and Commerce Parkway. This strategic coordination and use of overwhelming law enforcement presence allowed the FBI to safely seize the weapons and dismantle the trafficking ring with minimal violence. The raid was the result of detailed investigative work that identified key locations and individuals associated with the cartel. Investigators traced movements, followed financial trails, and intercepted communications to build a case strong enough to justify simultaneous search warrants in Athens and Atlanta. This level of coordination meant surprise was on their side, a weapon more powerful than the grenades they would find. Surprise neutralized the traffickers before violence could erupt. The operation resulted in the arrest of 17 individuals and the recovery of significant quantities of narcotics, firearms, including military-grade weapons, and cash. The scale of the operation showed a victory that prevented devastation. Authorities intercepted over 400 grams of lethal synthetic narcotics and seized more than 5 kilograms of a powerful stimulant. They also uncovered additional narcotics in bulk, representing millions of dollars on the street. This wasn't small-scale dealing, it was industrial-level trafficking, designed to saturate entire regions. The cartel had fortified itself with weaponry that seemed more suited for a battlefield than a suburban street. 26 firearms were taken into custody, including handguns, rifles, and assault-style weapons, along with a rare grenade launcher. The message was clear. These traffickers were not only poisoning communities with narcotics, but were also prepared to defend their empire with firepower capable of mass destruction. The presence of a grenade launcher among cartel traffickers inside the U.S. signals a dangerous escalation and increasing militarization of these criminal groups. Cartels are acting more like paramilitary organizations seeking to control territories with advanced military-grade weapons. These weapons, which can include grenade launchers and anti-tank missiles, show their willingness to engage in high-intensity violence against rival cartels, law enforcement, and government forces.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
This discovery forces a chilling reality on communities. Battlefield-level violence is possible on American streets. Law enforcement did not just seize contraband, they interrupted potential devastation. The Georgia bust was a direct intervention against human suffering. Every gram seized meant fewer funerals, fewer grieving families, and fewer children watching their parents collapse from dependency. The firearms seized meant fewer shootings and robberies. The bust revealed a meticulous, well-organized network with layers of coordination. By dismantling it, authorities didn't just arrest individuals, they fractured an infrastructure built to endure. This was part of a larger federal offensive called Operation Take Back America and Operation Summer Heat. These operations target violent cartel networks with coordinated force, bringing together federal, state, and local law enforcement. The Georgia case shows that the U.S. justice system is adjusting by hitting not just the narcotics, but also the weapons, the organization, and the structure of these criminal networks. The operation's success highlights a crucial truth. Cartels adapt and embed themselves in places far from border towns because they believe mid-sized cities offer concealment. They exploit highways to move narcotics and money and assume law enforcement coordination will fail across jurisdictions. But in Athens and Atlanta, the opposite happened. 13 agencies closed ranks, erased silos, and worked as one. That synergy was the cartel's blind spot. and it proved fatal to their ring. The arrest of 17 individuals in a single coordinated strike is a statement in itself. These were not low-level street dealers. They were identified as part of a network moving significant amounts of narcotics through Georgia, backed by the financial power of a cartel. Taking them off the streets wasn't just about prosecution. It was about decapitating a local distribution hub. It signaled to every associate that their movements were known, their communications traced, and their walls penetrated. The recovered arsenal told its own story. The grenade launcher is not a collector's piece. It's a declaration of readiness for war against rivals, or even law enforcement. For the FBI to seize it without bloodshed speaks to the overwhelming force applied during the raid. The agents came in with precision, numbers, and preparation, ensuring the traffickers had no chance to fight back. This saved lives, both theirs and potentially innocent bystanders. Cash was also part of the haul, piles of it. Every dollar seized in Athens and Atlanta was a dollar denied to the cartel's larger empire. The confiscation of narcotics, weapons, and cash together cuts into the lifeblood of the network on three fronts: supply, enforcement, and finance. That is why this bust was described as dismantling, not just disrupting. For communities in Georgia, the operation carries a weight that can't be measured only in numbers. The knowledge that military-grade weapons were hidden in their neighborhoods fuels both fear and relief. Fear of what could have been unleashed, and relief that it was intercepted in time. Without coordination, a piecemeal arrest might have tipped off the network, and a grenade launcher might have been deployed. By acting with speed, the FBI and its partners ensured they seized momentum from the cartel. The arrests matter individually, too. Each of the 17 detained faces charges that could fracture the network further. Some may cooperate, providing intelligence on suppliers, financiers, and enforcers. Every cooperation creates openings for further seizures and indictments. The ripple effect of one coordinated raid can extend months, even years into the future. Psychologically, the raid delivers a blow that money can't immediately repair. For the traffickers, trust has been broken. Their safe houses weren't safe, and their communications weren't secret. Their illusion of invincibility has been punctured. For the broader cartel leadership, it raises questions about who leaked information and how deeply authorities have penetrated their networks. Doubt spreads faster than loyalty in environments built on fear. That is how empires crumble, not only from outside pressure, but from paranoia within. The public sees the grenade launcher as the symbol of this operation.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
It is the physical embodiment of the danger cartels pose when left unchecked. It makes the abstract real. A grenade launcher is impossible to ignore and forces us to confront the level of militarization at play in criminal networks operating on U.S. soil. From a law enforcement perspective, the operation is a model. Multi-agency collaboration is difficult, and turf wars and communication gaps are common. But here, coordination was seamless. The result: 0 major injuries, 0 firefights, 17 arrests, weapons seized, and communities protected, stands as proof that unity multiplies strength. It shows that cartels can be countered not only with resources, but with strategy, precision, and trust between agencies. The Georgia bust represents a pivotal moment in the balance of fear between criminal empires and government agencies. On one side is the specter of retaliation, a proven reality in regions where cartels have historically unleashed chaos to avenge losses. On the other side is the potential for deterrence, the possibility that this operation will echo across the underworld as a warning not to test the combined strength of U.S. enforcement. The clash of these two forces, fear of retaliation and the power of deterrence, is what makes this moment so consequential. The immediate emotional stakes are obvious. Law enforcement officers who carried out the raid know that their success also paints a target on their backs. Communities in Georgia, previously less accustomed to being linked with the epicenter of cartel activity, now face the possibility that violent actors could attempt to reassert dominance through intimidation. The historical record reinforces that these concerns are not hypothetical. However, the very act of standing up to cartel operations sends an opposite and equally forceful signal of deterrence. When agencies at the federal, state, and local levels collaborate successfully, seize large caches of narcotics, intercept weapons, and arrest operatives, they strip away the myth of invincibility that cartels cultivate. The Georgia bust embodies this. By coordinating across jurisdictions, law enforcement proved that networks once thought to be insulated could be penetrated and dismantled. For cartel leaders, the bust represents the potential loss of profits, distribution channels, and trusted operatives. For would-be entrants to the network, it reframes the supposed glamour of cartel life into a stark image of mugshots, prison sentences, and fortunes erased in an instant. This is deterrence at its sharpest, weaponized through the public exposure of consequences. The Georgia bust, because of its publicity and scale, feeds directly into this cycle of paranoia. The arrests are proof that the U.S. justice system is adjusting by hitting not just the narcotics, but the weapons, the organization, and the structure of these criminal networks. The lesson of the Georgia bust is that in the war on narcotics, prevention is measured not in headlines about loss, but in the quiet preservation of lives. The operation closes with a lesson for both sides. For law enforcement, coordination saves lives and magnifies impact. For the cartels, visibility is growing, vulnerability is real, and every move risks collapse. And for the public, vigilance matters because these operations are not distant stories. They shape the safety of schools, streets, and cities. When grenade launchers are seized in Georgia, the line between war and crime feels thinner than ever. But the outcome proves that with planning, unity, and decisive action, even the most militarized trafficking rings can be dismantled without a shot fired. The bust shows that communities don't have to accept this as inevitable. By backing coordinated policing and understanding the stakes, the public aligns itself with the principle that safety isn't accidental. It's fought for, planned for, and won through unity. The bust was more than a legal victory. It was a lifeline. This takedown was just the start. The fight isn't finished. On your screen is the next video. Click the video, it opens right away, and you'll see the cartels crushed even harder.